Gentle Storm, Chapter 16. A Bond Beyond Breaking. Jacob sits in a cold, empty cell. Firefly, Princess Celestia, and the others talk outside his door. Firefly says, "We should kill him." Celestia says, "No. Something is making him do this, and I will not kill my own nephew." Twilight says, "How could you say that, Firefly? Thunder is supposed to be your brother." Firefly says, "I can't be a brother to someone who tries to kill his own mother." Rainbow Dash says, "So you're just going to disown him? Some brother you are. You make me sick." Firefly says, "Shut up, Rainbow. You have no idea what I'm going through." Rainbow Dash says, "I have no idea what you're going through? I grew up with Thunderstorm. We were like inseparable siblings." Tears fill Rainbow Dash's eyes, and she says, "So don't you dare say that I don't know what you're going through. Because I do. He's my brother too." Firefly looks at the ground and says, I'm sorry, Rainbow. I forgot about that. I'm so sorry." Luna says, "It's okay." Jacob says, "Luna, won't you guide me out of here? I don't know what to do. Won't you tell me how to break the spell?" In Luna's room, Luna says, "Oh, my son, I wish I could help you." Jacob stands up, grabbing his head tight. His eyes turn blank and cold. He walks to the cell door and says, "Aunt Celestia, please let me out. I'm just fine now. I know Mother loves me, and I don't want to hurt her. Please let me out. I had to go stop Zeraday." Celestia says, "My nephew?" Armor appears on Jacob's left arm. He smiles and says, "Yes, Auntie, it's me." Celestia looks at him. He smiles warmly at her. Celestia smiles and says, "Welcome back, my nephew." Jacob says, "Thank you, Auntie. It's good to be back." Firefly and everyone else watches suspiciously. Celestia slowly opens the door. Jacob hides his armor and walks out. The voice says, "Mother, mother, mother." It echoes through his head. Celestia hugs him and says, "I'm so glad you're all right, Thunderstorm." Jacob smiles and says, "Me too. I should go apologize to Mother. We got some mending to do." Celestia says, "Of course. I'll take you to her." Jacob says, "Thank you, Auntie." They walk to Luna's room. Celestia opens the door. Jacob walks in. Celestia waits with the door cracked. Jacob smiles warmly and says, "Hello, Mother." Luna says, "Son, how are you?" Jacob says, "Much better. I'm sorry for what happened before." He walks towards her. Luna smiles and says, "Thank goodness you're all right." Jacob says, "Thank goodness you're all right." He pulls his arm out from underneath his shirt, but keeps it behind his back. Luna smiles and says, "I remember when you were still a little colt and would get scared at thunderstorms." She smiles and says, "How you would run to me, and I would just hold you and comfort you." Flashback. A storm roars. Colt Thunderstorm says, "Ah, Mother!" He runs to her. She holds him and smiles and says, "It's okay, my son. It's just a storm. I'm here." She kisses the top of his head and smiles warmly and says, "Nothing will ever hurt you, my son. I will protect you. I love you." Colt Thunderstorm smiles up at her and says, "I love you too, Mother. Can I stay with you tonight?" Luna smiles and says, "Of course." He hugs her and says, "Thank you, Mother." "Thank you, Mother. I love you so much." Luna says, "I love you too." Flashback ends. She smiles and says, "You stayed with me the entire night. We sang, laughed, danced, and went to sleep. It was so much fun." Jacob freezes. The arm with the armor is shaking. Tears go down his cheeks. The armor disappears and he looks at Luna with loving eyes and says, "Oh, Mother." He hugs her and says, I'm so sorry, Mother. I wasn't okay. I came in here to kill you. I was going to kill you. I've forgotten how much you love me and how much I love you. I'm so sorry, Mother. I remember that day. I love you, Mother. I'm so sorry. He cries into her shoulder. She smiles and says, It's okay, son. I know you love me. Come here. He gets into bed with her and says, I know I'm grown now, Mother, but can I stay here with you? Luna smiles and says, I love that. Jacob smiles and says, Thank you, Mother. Good night, Mother. Luna says, Good night, Thunderstorm. The next day, Luna wakes up and feels the warmth of Jacob's body behind her. She smiles and says, just like when he was little, I want my little boy back. He grew up so fast. The door opens and Twilight walks in. She says, Oh, there's Thunder. Luna looks back at him and smiles and says, He chose to stay with me. Twilight smiles and says, He is back. Luna smiles and nods. Twilight leaves the room. Firefly walks in and says, Princess. He stops talking when he sees Jacob asleep behind her. Firefly says, Are you alright, Princess Luna? Luna smiles and says, I'm just fine. We had a touching moment yesterday, and then he chose to stay with me. My son is back. Firefly says, Thunder is okay? Luna nods and says, He is. Firefly says, Thanks, Celestia. Now my heart can stop hurting. Luna says, He didn't mean any of it, Firefly. That Lunkar blood did it to him. Firefly says, How do you know? Luna says, I could sense it the minute he entered the room. Me and Thunderstorm have a special mother-son connection. Firefly says, I never thought a mother and son could be so close. You two amaze me. Luna says, Thank you. Firefly bows, then leaves the room. Luna says, Still a deep sleep, purr as ever. Jacob says, Mother, storm go boom boom. Luna giggles and says, He's dreaming of when he was a colt. How cute. She kisses his head and says, I love you, son. She slowly gets out of the bed and slowly walks to the door and opens it. She leaves the room and slowly closes the door back. She says, I'm still too weak to make a portal back to Equestria, but she walks to a room and enters it. She closes the door back, then walks over to a closet and opens it and pulls out a black box with a strange symbol on it. She sets it on the floor and opens it. She pulls out a beautiful shining object. She smiles at it. A tear goes down on her cheek. She walks back to her room and stands in front of the bed smiling down at Jacob. Jacob stretches and yawns and says, Oh yeah, I needed that. His eyes open and he says, Mother, you're standing. Do you feel better? Luna says, Much better. Stand up. Jacob says, Okay. He gets off the bed and stands up. She puts the shining object around his neck. He looks down at it and says, Wow, Mother, it's beautiful. What's it for? Luna smiles and says, It looks perfect on you. Tears go down her cheeks. Jacob says, What's wrong, Mother? Luna says, Nothing. That necklace was your father's. It's a Lunkar necklace. It helps Lunkar control his blood. Your father was the only Lunkar that had one because he made it. Jacob fiddles with the necklace and says, Mother, what happened to Father? Luna says, The other Lunkars wanted his necklace. They wanted to destroy it, so he hid it. But without the necklace, his blood got stronger and stronger. Eventually, it was obvious that he didn't have much time left before the blood took over. I begged him to use the necklace, but he said no. The Lunkars would find it and destroy it, and then there would be no hope for Lunkars. So he did the only thing he could do to keep his wife and son safe. Tears run down her cheeks. She says, He killed himself. Jacob's eyes go wide. Luna says, He told me he was going to go get milk for you, but never came back. I had all of Equestria look for him, and then his body was found. He had shot himself with one of those stupid human weapons. Jacob hugs her and wraps his wings around her. I'll continue